Hello and good morning, everyone. Our esteemed guests, jury member, and dignitaries, representatives from Prabha Khaitan Foundation, media personnel, my fellow colleagues from WWF India, I, Dr. Abhishek Bhatnagar, on behalf of WWF India, feel privileged to welcome you to all to witness and recognize key contribution of forest officials and community personnel by conferring them Machhli and Vanya Prani Mitra award. And we are very pleased to hold this event personally rather than virtually, which proves that we are back on track to commit ourselves fully for conservation initiatives. So let me take this opportunity to welcome our chief guest for today's event, Honorable Shri VP Singh Ji, the 28th Governor of Punjab. It's our privilege to have Singh sir amongst us, who held various positions, prestigious positions till now in Indian Parliament. And also he served as a chairman of a special task force to rehabilitate tigers in Sariska during 2005 to 2009. And because of that, we can see Sariska Tiger Reserve is on the path of revival. And Sir is always keen and having interest in wildlife. He always shows his willingness towards such initiatives. So I request my colleague Ritika to welcome Sir and please, and Sir, please come on stage. Have a seat. I also welcome Ms. Sakra, Honorary Convener of Rajasthan and Central India Affairs, Prabha Khaitan Foundation. I request Ritika to please welcome. Please have a seat. Now I extend my heartfelt welcome to one of our respected jury members, Mr. Rajpal Singh Ji. Please come and join us on the stage. He is former NTCA member and a keen birder, wildlife and all that. Please welcome. Thank you, sir. Now I request Yash, my colleague, to please come at the stage, have a seat, and Ritika, you please join us on the stage. And I also thank one of our jury member, Mr. R.G. Soni sir. He is retired of Rajasthan Forest Department. Because of his health issues, today he is not joining us for this event, but he has conveyed his wishes for this event. And I also extend my gratitude to Vikram Singh sir, retired IAS officer. He served as various positions in Rajasthan and a keen wildlifer. Also Tejveer Singh sir is retired forest officer and a wildlifer. So just to tell a bit about this award, it's a joint initiative taken by Prabha Khaitan Foundation and WWF India, and have launched 2 annual awards scheme for 3 years. From 2019 it is started. So this is the 3rd year we are giving awards to forest officials and community person. And basically, just to tell that why these awards are for, basically we select people, those who have a special contribution in the field of wildlife or wildlife crime control or awareness generation among relevant stakeholders, effective human-wildlife conflict management, capacity building to forest staff, protection of wildlife corridors, wildlife habitat protection, and addressing wildlife emergencies. So this year we have received nominations from entire Rajasthan, from all the protected areas. Approximately 17 nominations we have received. And out of them, our esteemed jury members have selected a group for Vanya Prani Mitra Award and an individual for Machhli Award. And it was an uphill struggle for these for jury members to select the winners among 17 nominations. So today we will be honoring winners in both the categories. So without taking much time, now I request Ms. Abra Kuchal for her welcome address and introductory remarks for Prabha Khaitan Foundation. Thanks.
Good evening to one and all present here. It's an honor to have you with us, sir. My compliments and my wishes to everybody sitting on the dais. Prabha Khaitan Foundation is dedicated to all-round development of social, culture, welfare and humanitarian aspects of Indian society. It is a non-profit organization founded by late Dr. Prabha Khaitan ji, an eminent literature, philanthropist, social worker and industrialist. Based in Kolkata, the organization promotes art, culture, literature of India and is engaged in lots of welfare activities with its associates which are in all parts of the world. The organization collaborates with caregivers, committed individuals and like-minded institutions to implement various cultural, educational, literary and social welfare projects. The objective of the foundation is to create an enabling structure and promote networking so that communities engage with each other to build up positive esteem, inspire creativity and promote culture and knowledge. We are very happy to be in association with the WWF for the Vanya Prani Mitra Award, and as the gentleman right here explained about this award, you know, it is a matter of great, I should say, it's a matter of great pride to be always involved in activities like this, and it has always been an endeavor of Prabha Khaitan Foundation to support this. The Vanya Prani Mitra Award is for outstanding contribution to management of human-wildlife conflict in Rajasthan, and this award carries a cash or in-kind equivalent award of Rs 2 lakhs and a citation. This year's recipient of the Machhli Award are people who've done exemplary contribution to helping track tigers around the Dholpur range. I would not like to reveal the names of the winners, but one thing is in common for all of them is with a lot of dedication, hard work, and with a lot of efforts. They do what they're supposed to do, but also they add an element of extra effort, and that is the reason that they are the award winners this year. The awardees were selected, as my friend told, the awardees were selected by an eminent committee chaired by the Principal Chief Conservator of Forest Wildlife Rajasthan and Senior Official of the Rajasthan Forest Department, renowned personalities with interest in environment and natural conservation, representatives of Prabha Khaitan Foundation and WWF India. We wish to extend a huge round of applause to the winners of this year and also pray that somewhere or the other we are associated with events like this. On behalf of Prabha Khaitan Foundation, I once again welcome you all.
Thank you so much, Afraji, for your insight about Prabha Khaitan Foundation. And now I request my colleague Yash Sethia to share the work which WWF is doing in India. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek. I want to start by welcoming all of you, Abraji, VP Singh ji, Rajpal ji, my colleagues here. आप सभी का स्वागत है. आप सभी का धन्यवाद कि आप आज आए यहाँ, और हमें बहुत खुशी मिल रही है कि वी आर एबल टू ऑनर यू. आपने जो सारे काम किए हैं, अभी तो आपके काम के बारे में हम बताएंगे और आपको अवार्ड भी करेंगे। WWF इंडिया के बारे में कुछ शब्द कहना चाहूँगा। यहाँ राजस्थान में हम काम करते हैं, हम उसको कहते हैं वेस्टर्न इंडिया टाइगर लैंडस्केप, क्योंकि यहाँ पे जो टाइगर है वो सबसे वेस्टर्न मोस्ट टाइगर पॉपुलेशन माना जाता है इंडिया में। और ये नहीं है कि हम सिर्फ टाइगर के लिए करते हैं, पर हाँ, हम सभी जानते हैं और पहचानते हैं कि टाइगर हमारे देश के लिए, हमारे कल्चर में हम उसको बहुत मान्यता देते हैं, हमारे लिए बहुत। और हमारे पिछले कुछ सालों से हमारी सरकार ने जो मिलके सारा किया है, उस वजह से जो टाइगर पॉपुलेशन है इंडिया का काफ़ी थ्राइव कर रहा है, बढ़ रहा है। और भी स्पीशीज़ है हमारे प्रोग्राम में जिसके लिए हम काम करते हैं, जो एशियन एलिफेंट है, जिसका भी सबसे ज़्यादा पॉपुलेशन मात्रा इंडिया में पाई जाती है। ग्रेटर वन हॉर्न राइनोसरस है, जो सिर्फ आसाम में ही पर सबसे बड़ी उसकी पॉपुलेशन है, वो आसाम में पाई जाती है। तो हमारा जो कार्यक्रम है इन सब स्पीशीज़ के लिए, स्नो लेपर्ड है, रेड पांडा है, छोटे ऐसी बहुत सारी स्पीशीज़ हैं जिसके बारे में हम जानते हैं, लेकिन उसकी रक्षा और सुरक्षा सरकार के साथ मिलके, हर राज्य में स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, वहाँ के फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट के साथ मिलके WWF काम करती है। भारत में WWF सबसे बड़ी कंजर्वेशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, वो यहीं की ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है। हमने पिछले 2 साल पहले यहाँ हमारे 50 साल मनाए थे WWF इंडिया के, और आप सभी के विश्वास और साथ की वजह से ही हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। यहाँ वेस्टर्न इंडिया टाइगर लैंडस्केप में हमारा जो काम चल रहा है वो रणथंभौर में है, जैसे अभिषेक यहाँ का काम देख रहे हैं। लेकिन रणथंभौर की इतने सक्सेसफुल टाइगर कंजर्वेशन की वजह से रणथंभौर से निकल के कैला देवी की और अब धौलपुर की ओर राजस्थान सरकार ने मुकुंदरा टाइगर रिजर्व, कुंभलगढ़ की बात हो रही है, और यहाँ से टाइगर निकल कर चंबल पार करके कूनो मध्य प्रदेश की तरफ भी जा रहे हैं। तो वेस्टर्न इंडिया टाइगर लैंडस्केप में हमारा काम है कि हम वन विभाग के साथ मिलके, आज हमारे जो यहाँ गांव के साथी आए हैं, यहाँ की कम्युनिटीज़ के साथ मिलके, फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट के साथ मिलके, किस तरीके से वी आर एबल टू कंजर्व दी स्पीशीज़। और इसमें वी वांट टू एक्नॉलेज कि जितना महत्वपूर्ण काम हमारी वन विभाग करती है, उतना ही महत्वपूर्ण काम जो यहाँ के लोग और गाँव के लोग रहते हैं, क्योंकि उनका साथ हमें नहीं मिला तो नो मैटर हम कितना भी स्ट्रॉन्ग प्रोटेक्शन कर लें, इनका साथ होगा तब हम जो ये वन्य जीव है उसको बचा पाएंगे। और इसलिए with Prabha Khaitan Foundation we are very happy that there are 2 awards, one which recognizes the community contribution to wildlife conservation as much as an important role that the forest department plays. इसी के साथ मैं ख़त्म करूँगा। मैं चाहूँगा अपराजी हैं यहाँ, we would like to take this forward also with the support of the Prabha Khaitan Foundation, these awards and even more. There are, as you see, there are groups and communities here that are working on wildlife conservation. We would be very happy if WWF India together with the Rajasthan Forest Department is able to deepen this work and take it further. Thank you very much.
Thank you Ian, for sharing the details. There are so many things, and as time is short, so we have to continue for the awards. Now, I request our chief guest, Honorable Shri VP Singh Ji, to say a few words. Thank you, sir.
That there are people interested in this subject, the forest and environment and conservation, and on the stage is somebody from the WWF, Abhishek ji, Abhishek, and Yash Sethia ji, and Miss Ritika Allah. Then my friend Rajpal, who has been doing a lot of work on conservation in Rajasthan, and of course the people who have been giving this award, and from that side is Apra Kuchal. And of course there are people who are interested in this subject for a long time, Kapoor ji, Amar Tejveer ji, Vikram, and all the people who are all conservationists. I'm very happy to be here. I've come from Punjab, but before that, when I was a member of the Legislative Assembly here and a member of Parliament, I have been working in Rajasthan on the conservation side. And I was one of those lucky people who got an opportunity to do something. Everybody doesn't get an opportunity. And it was, I think, because you talked about tiger conservation. And you were very rightly saying that if you save the tiger, you have saved the whole environment, the prey base, the other animals. Because if the tiger is not there, that means the forest is being hampered in some way. And if that happens, the tiger will disappear. And if the tiger disappears, the whole prey base disappears. It's at the triangle, it is at the apostle, and it is the pinnacle of the triangle. And you must save the tiger. And by saving tiger, you saved everything. And when the tigers disappeared in Sariska, and that was in 2003 and 4, and that was the time that the famous Fateh Singh Ji, who had done so much, had raised the SOS, and he was the person who started that the tigers are disappearing. Nobody really listened to him. Because that was the time that everybody used to think that one tiger, pug mark, if you see one here, and the tiger travels another 20-30 kilometers the next day to another, and another 20-30 kilometers the next day, because these were the pug marks that you saw. You could say that there were 3 tigers or 4 tigers. And he was the person who raised the cry that the Ranthambore tigers had also dwindled to only 16, and we did not believe that, because it was very difficult to believe that. And that is the time that committee was formed. But the last tiger disappeared in Sariska, and that was a sad day, not only for Rajasthan, but the whole of the country, because internationally, everybody started blaming us. And it was very shameful that we could not conserve or save the tiger in Sariska. And that is the time that the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Madam Vasundhara Raje, formed a task force to look into how to revive the tiger and see what the issues were. And I was lucky to become the chairman. And I had a very good team. Rajpal ji, who is here, who had been doing a lot of work, was one of them. The secretary of this was the Chief Conservator of Forest and Wildlife, Mr. Mehrotra. And we had Belinda Wright. We also had a person from the WII who retired as the director of WII, Mr. First Sinha Saab and then Mathur Saab. So they were also on our committee, and Valu Thapar was also there. So it was a very high level committee, but we had to start working. And I must tell you this, that anybody else in my job who was appointed a chairman, and there were other chairmen also appointed for the same time. The Mangra Development Chairman was appointed, the other, but this was a very important committee that I thought that I was holding. And the first thing one chairman looks for is that he should have an office, he should have a car, he should have a peon, he should have a staff, he should have a telephone connection, and all these things. And I thought that if I start looking for my office, a good office, somebody to be attending to me, a car on my duty, a driver, and all those things, this will take me another few months and I will not be able to work. So the first thing I did was I went to our wildlife warden and chief conservator, Mr. Mehrotra. I said, this is my office. These telephones are my telephones, along with you, of course. All your staff is going to be with me. I'm going to sit in your office and I'm going to work. So all that I cut, and we started working the next day. And the third day, we had a meeting in Ranthambore to find out what was the cause of all this. We met lots of people interested, and the good thing was that the hotel lobby, which was, they had the biggest worry. If the tigers disappeared like it had in Sariska, their jobs would go, their business would be destroyed. And they also helped us. And they said this is what was happening. And the third day, what we did was, we got the police. And I'm happy to say that that was the time that the DG Sahib was Mr. Gill, who I've been meeting in Punjab, who's gone back, retired there, as a great officer, very honest officer. And he said, you will have all the possible help from us. And so we had the police, and we said, what should we do? So we all decided that we must declare an emergency. And we declared an emergency in Ranthambore, because we could not do very much. If we declare an emergency in Sariska where there are no tigers, then what would we be able to do? So we declared an emergency in Ranthambore and said, all around Ranthambore, whoever has guns, whoever, and all the people and all the tribal mongas and all those people who were the shikaris, we rounded them up to find out and made them all run. And then also we said, found out that there was a person called Sansar Chand, and he was the main culprit. He was engaging all these people to do the poaching. And if there was any traps put, we wanted to get onto those. And that is the first work we did. And you'll be surprised, Sansar Chand was on the run. All his people who were engaged in this were all disappeared into Madhya Pradesh. So at least we could keep Ranthambore safe. And that was the first thing we did. And interestingly, Sansar Chand on the run, and we said we must catch him and find out exactly how he worked. I'm sorry, how much time do I have? Because this is a long story. Can I be there for 5 minutes?
Yes, you will.
Another 5 minutes?
No, yes, you take it.
And the most interesting story is, Sansar Chand was on the run. We knew that he was behind all this, and this was being done not just in Rajasthan but in Madhya Pradesh also. He had his people doing the poaching. He was killing these tigers. Tigers were going through the full tiger was going. Not just the skins. He was not just interested in the skins. It was the meat, and it was the medicinal value of the whole tiger, including the tongue, including the private issues, parts of the tiger, everything is medicinal value in China. They were going through Nepal, and he had that network. And I'm told that a tiger was costing $1 million, but here he was paying only 10,000 rupees to these people and killing them. So the tigers were disappeared in Sariska. We safeguarded Ranthambore, and we went for Sansar Chand. Sansar Chand was hiding in Delhi. We got to know from his telephones that he was in one area. And this is a very interesting story, I must tell you, how the police rounded up and found out that he is in this area now, how to get to him. But there used to be a story in the Rajasthan Patrika every day. And this, we knew that he was the person who would be buying Rajasthan Patrika. And in that area, we said, how many people are taking Rajasthan Patrika, because everybody doesn't take and read Rajasthan Patrika. And the police, naturally we were giving them all the information. They found out that this person was a new person who used to come every day, buy Rajasthan Patrika and disappear. And they said, this person, this hawker, he said, "Sir, मैं तो बहुत सारे जगह देता हूँ, पर एक आदमी आता है, रोज सुबह आता है, ले जाता है paper." And we were waiting for it. And it was Sansar Chand. And we put him in jail. And that's how we got him. And then the stories came out. So unless you get to the stories at the root of the cause, where it was going, what was his way of modus operandi for all this, how he was sending all this material in the tigers, what was, and we got to know everything. And then we went into the details of it. Then we started working on other things as well, in the sense that it was only in the moonlight that these people they used to work and put their traps. And it was just 4 days before the full moon and 4 days later on. That is the time that we started working on. And if there were other people who were poaching, so we got rid of the poaching first and foremost. It was later on then it's very, I must say that the tigers can feel things being an animal, which we cannot also. And that feeling was in the tigers. And that's why before the tigers started disappearing and poaching, even the birth, their reproduction was affected. And the reproduction in those areas, Ranthambore had really come down. When they got the feeling of being safe, the reproduction started. And then because it's from a cat family, and the tigers can breed fast. They can go up to 4 or 5 cubs also, although it is usually 2 or 3. And to save them, because the mortality rate of the cubs is also to be considered. Till they get to an age of at least 1.5 years, there is a lot of danger. So all that started happening, the numbers started going up, and we started the new systems, not the bug mark systems. We had the camera traps, and we could know exactly. Every tiger people who understand, I don't have to explain here. Every tiger that time was identified and we gave them numbers. Because from these stripes we can know that this tiger is different from another. It is like our fingerprint. No fingerprint is same in one person. And no tiger has the same stripes in another tiger. And that's how we identified. And that's how we started working. But how do we revive Sariska was the biggest issue. And when that was an issue, the only way out that the WI could tell us was relocation. Relocation of tigers was not done before this time. And we went for relocation. And I'm sorry to say there are lots of people, the WWF supported us in a big, big way. But the Secretary, Rajasthan Forest Department had his apprehensions because he said it is not done before. I don't want to lose my job, although we had the support of lots of people. The WI told us the whole plan how it is to be done, but said that unless we get the yes from the Secretary, Government of India, we will not do it. So we went one day to Secretary, Government of India, and I was a member of Parliament, so naturally she was a lady, Meena Gupta from Orissa. She said, and before that, the Tiger Project Secretary General Rajesh Gopal, he had also said that you have to give the permission. She was not ready to give the permission, and sort of nearly threw us out of the office. This cannot be done. So I said, what do I do? And that is the time that I went all the way to the Prime Minister. I said, this is what has happened. Shameful for India that we have lost one Project Tiger, and if this happens, it will happen to other Project Tigers also. But I never went to him. I went through a friend of mine who used to be a minister in his cabinet, and it was Prithviraj Chauhan. When I convinced him, because there was this note that had come to him through the Forest Department, and they said that the risk factor is there, it is very difficult, it has not been done, so you have to take a call. And the Prime Minister cut all that and said yes, and things changed. Now imagine if there are no corridors, because we have pockets of survival. You have the Kanan, the Tadobas, the Ranthambores, the Sariska, but there is no connection between them. There are no forest areas where they can travel, because tigers love to travel. And but how will they come to Sariska? They had to be relocated. And it changed other things also in the tiger world. The other thing is, today also there is a problem of gender equality. In the sense, there has to be a male-female ratio which has to be correct. There has to be also the capacity of a pocket of survival of Project Tiger, which is also there. But how can you correct that? And to address this, the only way out was relocation, and that was done in 2008, and things changed. And you'd be surprised to know that at that time, there was another hue and cry in Patna, where all the tigers had disappeared, like Sariska, because they had not worked like we had. Sansar Chandra was caught, but it took us about 4 years to catch him, and he was working in different areas. And when we did it here in Sariska, they got a chance to do it from Kana because there were lots of tigers in Kana and other areas in Madhya Pradesh. And when they did it in Panna, today, where it was 0 in 2009, today there are more than 50 tigers in Panna. There are more than 25, I'm told, in Sariska, along with the cubs. They should not be counted, but that is the estimation. And it was because of freedom. But today I am here, not for this story, but I am here to honor people who are the frontline workers. They are to be given all the credit. When we were working also, it was the front line. It was not the officers or us. It was the frontline people who do their job. They do their job 24/7. They don't have families living with them. They have issues. And I give all the credit of survival, of conservation to the front line. And I'm very happy to say that Khaitan and WWF are working and honoring them. That is something very good. And also the communities which need to be helping them out. I recall a story that in Badnor, where I come from, there is a forest, and every morning there used to be people, the women coming with loads of firewood. That used to be the fuel. Today, I want to take note and put it on record that it was Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji who gave all these gas connections, especially in areas where it is required in the forest areas. And that has really changed it. There are no loads coming. The forest is improving. And I remember I took Mehrotra Saab to Badnor, and he said that ये तो सब नंगे हो रहे हैं तो सब पहाड़ी. So I said, you tell us what to do. And we had a cooperative, and I remember one village, I went just now to see what the result of that. That was about 7, 8 years, 10 years ago. There's that area, because in the Aravallis, there is so much roots. You don't need plantations. It is wrong to do plantations in Aravalli. It is just the protection. And the goats, बकरी को रोक दो आप बरसात के 3 महीने तक, और क्या, everything will sprout up. And you can't believe what forest has come up. Only because we explained to the villagers there कि ये बंद कर दो आप, इस एरिया को हम क्या कहते हैं बाउंड्री वॉल से हम कवर कर देते हैं, और आप देखिए क्या हो जाता है. And you can see the difference. In one area, the hills are as naked as they were, and without anything. And in that area, just because of the protection, just because of the boundary, just because they were not sending their goats there anymore, that it's come up. The other issue that I want to talk about is Julie flora. Now, that is another problem that you need to really look into. Julie flora has been a blessing in many ways also. You have to look at it like this. In the area where there was no firewood, where there is no fuel, Julie flora was the answer. But not in forest where we have good forest. And in that area, Julie flora has to be removed because it will kill and it will not let anything else survive. that is another issue that the forest department must look into. I don't want to be very long, but this is, it's always, I feel that with you people, I'm always very at home. Because I spent a lot of time in the forest, I love to spend a lot of time in the forest, and I feel that I'm just one of you, and I'm very happy that I was invited to this by Rajpal Singh ji, and I didn't want to miss it. I'm also interested in the migratory birds which come, and Vikram Singh ji started this in Dungarpur, where he was there, and other places also where migratory birds come. I tried to do that in Punjab also, in Gurdaspur, where there's a beautiful water body where lots of birds come. There is also an issue of the Indira Gandhi Pariyojana, the river which comes down, and then you have the canal, the IGNP, which is dirtied by the Ludhiana sewerage and also the industrial pollution that comes, which is an issue. There are lots of issues, so I will not be talking very much about that, and I try to help out and do something there. But I am very happy to be amongst you, and I must congratulate the people who have got this award. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words and sharing the journey so far from Sarika at one point of time when Tiger got disappeared, and now today we can see the result of that timely action. That was such a tough job, considering the issues and all that. Thank you so much, sir. So now it's time to honor the awardees. May I have your permission, sir? Go ahead. So, please, sir, have a seat. So, first we have awardees for Vanya Prani Mitra Award. This award carries, as already told by Ms. Prabha, that it's having a cash prize of 2 lakh rupees and for outstanding contribution to effective management of human-wildlife conflict in Rajasthan. So, as already mentioned, that this is in this category, 2 community person members declared winners jointly, Mr. Gautam Lal Meena and Kishan Lal Meena from village Singhatwada, Girwa Tehsil, district Udaipur. So now I request Singh sir to do the felicitation. May I request sir? So I request winner along with Mr. Sushil Saniji to please come on stage and receive the award. Please. And just a round of applause for the awardees.
इसमें 2 पैंथर को रेस्क्यू किया। एक पैंथर था, मादा पैंथर थी, जिसका एक्चुअली कहना ही टूटा हुआ था, शिकार कर रही थी, और एक दूसरा था स्वस्थ था, उसको तो हमने केज में आ गया था तो वापस फील्ड में छोड़ दिया, उसको फिर बायोलॉजिकल पार्क में रखा। इन्हीं के सहयोग से हम इस पैंथर को रेस्क्यू कर पाए। इसलिए जनप्रतिनिधियों का और जो आम पब्लिक है उसका सहयोग जरूरी है। आप लोग सम्मानित हुए, उसके लिए मैं प्रभा फाउंडेशन को भी आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ और आप लोगों को बधाई देता हूँ। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Sushil. Now I request
धन्यवाद। प्रभा खैतान फाउंडेशन और वन विभाग के समस्त डिपार्टमेंट ने और आज के मुख्य किरदार निभा रहे मुख्य अतिथिगण का और विभाग की ओर से जो हमें यहाँ पे बुलाया, मान सम्मान दिया, इसके लिए आपको तहे दिल से धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया। वन्य जीव के अंदर आप ये जो घटना भी साहब ने बताई, यह घटना हमारे सामने घटी हुई है। हम उस समय थे वहाँ पे और 4-5 पंचायतों के लोग इकट्ठे हुए, तो केस हो गया तो उसमें हालात तो बिगड़ते हैं, तो स्थिति सब जानते हैं कि कैसी बनती है वहाँ पे। लेकिन उदयपुर डिपार्टमेंट का और वन विभाग के अधिकारियों का काफ़ी सहयोग रहा और वहाँ के हम लोगों ने दिन रात इनके साथ में लगकर और पैंथर को पकड़ने में हेल्प की। बहुत रात दिन लगा दिया था उदयपुर डिपार्टमेंट ने, उनके लिए भी मैं डीएफओ साहब को धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा। और इसी के साथ एक निवेदन इस मंच के माध्यम से और मीडिया के माध्यम से और मुख्य अतिथि जी को निवेदन करना चाहूँगा कि ये जंगल कुछ कम हो गए हैं, बहुत सारे खाने को नहीं मिलता तो वो जंगल से और आबादी क्षेत्र की ओर निकल आते हैं। तो उसके लिए क्या विचार करने की जरूरत है, उसमें ऐसे बाउंड्रीज बन जाए या ऐसी कुछ व्यवस्था हो जाए ताकि वो उसमें उसका भरण पोषण कर सकें, तो इधर जनहानि भी नहीं होगी और वो अपना सुरक्षित रह सकेंगे। हम भी उनमें सहयोग करने के लिए तैयार रहते हैं। राजस्थान है और राजस्थान के अंदर हर एक जीव जंतु को रहने का स्वतंत्र अधिकार है। पूरे भारत में कितना अच्छा रहता है कि जब हर चीज जीव जंतु मिलते हैं, देखने को मिलते हैं, तो अच्छी बात है। इसमें एक सोचने की जरूरत है। और सर एक और निवेदन है कि एक अगर कहीं बारिश सा ना गर्भ के अंदर उसी पे अगर पैंथर द्वारा हमला हो गया और खराब डेथ हो जाती है तो उसमें कुछ आर्थिक मदद जो मिलती है वो मेरे ख्याल से आपके हिसाब से भी कम है। गवर्नमेंट उसमें कुछ डिसीजन ले, बढ़ोतरी कितनी कर सकती है वो तो उस पर डिपेंड करता है। लेकिन मेरा और उस क्षेत्र के समस्त भाइयों का भी ये कहना था कि कुछ इसमें बढ़ोतरी होती है तो अच्छी बात है। और घायल व्यवस्था होती है उनमें कुछ भी प्रावधान नहीं किया जा रहा है। एक हाथ टूटता है तो एक पैर टूट जाता है, उसकी उस स्थिति में कुछ मदद मिलती है। तो मैं चाहूँगा और मेरे क्षेत्र के लोग भी चाहते हैं, हम सभी उस समय जब ये घटना घटी थी तो उस समय बात भी हुई थी, तो मेरा आपसे निवेदन है कि इस बात पे भी थोड़ा अमल किया जाए। जो छोटे मोटे घायल अवस्था में होते हैं तो उनको किस तरह से आर्थिक रूप मदद मिल सके, क्योंकि सर ट्राइबल एरिया है, सभी गाँव के क्षेत्र के निवास करते हैं और सभी जगह दिक्कत तो रहती है। और उसके लिए क्योंकि मेन कारण यह है कि जंगल कम हो गया है। उसके अंदर वन विभाग काम कराता है, लगा रहता है, लेकिन हर साल काम होता है लेकिन वहाँ पे देखने को नहीं मिलता पेड़ पौधे बड़े हैं कि नहीं बड़े, लेकिन काम हर साल होता है, हर बारिश हर सीजन में होता है। तो कहीं ना कहीं कमियां हो रही है, तो उसको दूर करने की कैसे दूर किया जाएगा वो सोचने की जरूरत है। धन्यवाद, ज़्यादा नहीं बोलूँगा सर, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया आपने याद किया, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
धन्यवाद, थैंक यू किशोर जी। Now is time to honor second award of the day, Machhli Award. In this category, the winner is Mr. Bane Singh. He is Assistant Forester, Dholpur Forest Division. And we also have DCF of Dholpur. Sir, I request you both to please come on stage and request Ritika to please hand over the award. Sir.
सर साथ आ जाइए।
Please give a round of applause for the winner. Now I request DCM sir to say a few words. कैलाश जी, कैलाश जी आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है कुछ दो शब्द कहें।
मंच पर विराजमान शायद समस्त मंच, उपस्थित इस कार्यक्रम के सभी अतिथि आयोजक, ये अवसर हमें मिला, इस अवसर में हमें भाग लेने के लिए आपने याद किया, इसके लिए मैं आभार व्यक्त करूंगा। सबसे पहले आपका अभिनंदन करूंगा। मैं बहुत ज़्यादा समय नहीं लूँगा सर। टाइगर कंजर्वेशन और टाइगर मैनेजमेंट को लेके ये इशू है, श्रीमान ने काफ़ी व्याख्या की है। उस समय हम साहब के साथ जुड़े हुए थे। हमें याद है पूरा जिस तरह की परिस्थितियों में टाइगर का रिलोकेशन, रणवीर सिंह जी विराजमान, वो अनुभव हमें बाद में काम आया सर। मैं इसका आभारी हूँ। वो जो देखने सुनने को जो मिलता था कि टाइगर एक्सटिंक्ट हो गए हैं, टाइगर की रिवाइवल के लिए टास्क फोर्स बनी है, टाइगर को रिलोकेट करने के लिए एक बहुत ही गहन अध्ययन, परिश्रम और प्रशिक्षण और ये जो रिसर्च की गई थी उसका लाभ सर आज हमें राजस्थान में देखने को मिल रहा है। राज्यपाल सिंह जी उदयपुर और दूसरे संभाग में उसके दौरे पर आते थे, उनसे भी हम मार्गदर्शन लेते रहे। मैं धौलपुर की बात करने के लिए मुझे यहाँ WWF ने और प्रभा फाउंडेशन ने मौका दिया मुझे। सर मेरी धौलपुर पोस्टिंग 2019 में हुई थी सितंबर में, और अक्टूबर से हमें कुछ एरिया झीरी, सरमोत्रा, वन विहार, सोनिका गुर्जा, ये चंबल से लगे हुए एरिया सर, और ये रणथंभौर से कनेक्टेड एरिया सर। काफी अच्छे जंगल है वहाँ। झीरी दमोह वाटरफॉल है, वहाँ दमोह के नाम से एक जगह को जाना जाता है, वहाँ एक पुराना माला है जंगल में। तो कुछ खबरें कभी कभी सर विलेजर्स से हमें मिलती थी कि बकरी गई है, भैंस गई है, गाय गई है। ये जो नंबर ऑफ जो हर्ट जाता था उसमें से कुछ कम हो जाते थे कि 10 बकरियां गई है कि 2 कम हो गई, भैंस एक नहीं आई, गाय गई कम हो गई। ये अक्टूबर 2019 से सर ये शुरुआत हुई। हम लोग भी भरोसा नहीं करते थे कि टाइगर का ये एरिया तो रहा था, पर टाइगर का मूवमेंट और टाइगर की साइटिंग कभी नहीं हुई हो पिछले 20 साल में। ये कोई 2001-2 के आसपास कभी मोहन का एक मोमेंट रहा था, 2009 में भी रहा था उसका। धीरे धीरे हमने स्टाफ को सर ट्रेन किया, जानकारी ली, WWF से भी हमने गाइडेंस लिया सर। तो एक संभावना बनी कि टाइगर का मूवमेंट हो सकता है। ये नवंबर-दिसंबर की बात सर। इसके बाद फिर दिसंबर की लास्ट में, क्योंकि जनवरी फर्स्ट वीक और दिसंबर लास्ट में बाड़ी एक टाउन है सर धौलपुर जिले में, वहां एक राजबाग करके जगह है। कुछ लोगों ने अक्सर ये टाइगर की गुर्राने की आवाज सुनी हमने। वहां से हमने टीम का गठन किया, फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट का सभी स्टाफ ऑफिसर्स को इकट्ठे किए, कुछ एक्सपर्ट्स को लिया, मूवमेंट किया, दल गठित किए। तो राम सागर के आसपास के एरिया में सर उसके पग मार्क में मिले। पग मार्क को आइडेंटिफाई किया, प्लास्टर ऑफ पेरिस से उसके बाद फिर रणथंभौर हमने सर उसका वेरिफिकेशन के लिए भेजा कि टाइगर है या कोई और एनिमल की गलती तो नहीं हो रही है, क्योंकि खेती उस समय पानी दिया जाता था खेतों में और कुछ ओस भी गिरने लग जाती थी, कहीं बिखरे हुए पग मार्क होते थे, कहीं श्रिंक हो जाते थे, इस तरह से था। श्योर हुए जनवरी 2020 में टाइगर ही है। फिर मूवमेंट्स के बारे में जानकारी ली गई तो T116 का मूवमेंट हमें मिला, जो अभी भी है सर। इसके बाद एक और टाइगर का मूवमेंट हुआ T117 का। कैमरा ट्रैप सर हमने बाद में 2 मिनट लूंगा इसमें। कैमरा ट्रैप की शुरुआत थोड़ी बाद में हुई। एक लेबेन के तरह मैनेजमेंट रहा सर वहाँ, और धौलपुर थोड़ा दूर दराज का भी एरिया रहा और एबंडेंस एरिया रहा। और रणथंभौर की अपनी एक प्रॉब्लम थी सरिस्का की अपनी RTR सेकंड जो करौली, तो करौली में भी सब टाइगर 3 या 4 टाइगर रहते। फिर इसके बाद T117 का भी मूवमेंट हो गया सर, वहां पर 2 टाइगर हो गए। इसके बाद T92 का मूवमेंट रहा, T72 का मूवमेंट रहा। MP ट्रांजिशन फेज था उनका, तो 2 रेगुलर है सर, T116, T117। इसके बाद फिर WWF के संपर्क में सर, अभिषेक जी के संपर्क में आपके माध्यम से हमने ट्रेनिंग की, टाइगर के टेक्निकल मैनेजमेंट को ली, साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट के लिए हमने कुछ प्रोग्राम्स प्लान किए, फील्ड विजिट्स की, कैमरा ट्रैप लगाए। विभाग का सहयोग मिलता रहा, स्थानीय लोगों का सहयोग मिलता रहा। उसके बाद सर हम मैनेज करते रहे T116 और T117। तो T116 है मेल सर, T117 फीमेल। इनकी 2 कब जनवरी 2021 में फिर मालूम आइडेंटिफाई किए गए। रीछड़ा जो विलेज जिससे हम लोग ट्रेनिंग करते थे, उसके पास काफी हैबिटेशन का एरिया था।
117 ने
जी सर, 117 फीमेल। और कब सर विलेज के बिल्कुल पास ही, जिसको कहे बाड़े और बाड़े के नीचे क्लिफ और क्लिफ के नीचे कब, मतलब आप देखिए कि मोस्ट डिस्टर्ब एरिया में वो सर्वाइव कर रहे थे। खो है, वो नाले हैं, जंगल बहुत अच्छा सर। हमारा स्ट्रिक्ट और रेगुलर मॉनिटरिंग रही है सर। रेगुलर मेरी विजिट होती रही, वहाँ स्टाफ को ट्रेन करते रहे। रणथंबोर सरिस्का ट्रैकिंग के लिए इनको भेजा स्टाफ को। रोटेशनल एक व्यवस्था कर दी। मैंने पूरे डिवीजन के स्टाफ को इसमें टाइगर मैनेजमेंट के लिए ट्रेन किया सर। विलेजर्स को रखा साथ में, बीएफपीएमसी जो हमारी जो समिति होती है उनको साथ में रखा। 5 टाइगर्स को हमने मैनेज किया सर। अभी रेगुलर मूवमेंट 4 टाइगर्स का वहाँ है सर अभी भी। मतलब आरटीआर सेकंड जितना प्रेशर है सर वहाँ, यूं कह सकते। आरटीआर सेकंड करौली में 4 से 5 टाइगर का मूवमेंट रहता है। धौलपुर में भी 4 या 5, 4 रेगुलर, 1 ट्रांजिशन। ये काफी अच्छा सर, हमें सहयोग मिलता रहा। मैं आभार व्यक्त करूंगा WWF का। मैं आभार व्यक्त करूंगा।
दो इश्यूज हैं आपके सर। सबसे बड़ा जो इशू है आपके कि वहाँ पे जो फायरिंग होती है उसको जब तक आप वो BSF की या वो जो रेंज बनी हुई है वो उसको रोकने का या उसको वहाँ से हटाने का काम भी आप लोगों को लिखना चाहिए
सर। उस पर शुरुआत कर दी गई
क्योंकि
फील्ड फायरिंग रेंज है सर।
ये दमोह तो बहुत अच्छा फॉरेस्ट है
सर।
और झिरी और ये अब बिल्कुल खत्म इसीलिए हो गया है। तो अगर वो फायरिंग का रेंज हट जाए तो वहाँ पे कहीं दूसरी जगह चली जाए तो वहाँ बहुत आपके फायरिंग अच्छा हो जाए
सर। इस दिशा में कार्य शुरू कर दिया गया फायरिंग रेंज को। तो वो परमिशन लॉन्ग टर्म 20 साल की परमिशन थी। हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं सर उसको फील्ड फायरिंग रेंज को दूसरे एरियाज है, वहाँ ब्लैंक एरियाज है। मैं निवेदन करूंगा सर आपको इस मंच के माध्यम से, मुझे जो अवसर मिला कि एक बार विजिट करें सर। दमोह एक बहुत ही
मैं गया हूँ, मैं
अलग तरह का एक एरिया कह सकते हैं।
सरगुजा मेरी रिश्तेदारी है इसलिए मैं तो बहुत जाता था।
और वो जो नाला है, वो नाले में
तो वाटरफॉल है,
वाटरफॉल बरसात के टाइम
उसमें कुछ पॉकेट्स तो डेंसली 0-1 डेंसिटी वाले फॉरेस्ट सरिस्का और रणथंबोर से बेटर पोजीशन में सर। मैं ज्यादा समय नहीं लूंगा आप सब। काफी
वन विहार को भी आप
वन विहार,
दूसरा वन विहार को भी कर सकते हैं।
वन विहार में कुछ हैबिटेशन का डिस्टर्बेंस है, प्लस दूसरा से कैटल्स बहुत है, कैटल प्रेशर बहुत है। झीरी दमोह ये जो सरमोत्रा एरिया इसमें नहीं है सर इतना प्रेशर। मैं प्रभा फाउंडेशन WWF मंच पर विराजमान समस्त अतिथियों का आभार व्यक्त करूंगा। आपने मुझे अवसर दिया, आपने मुझे सुना। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, Kelaji, for sharing the experience you have in Dholpur with tigers and how you have managed. And it's a very what I can say that even means 4 tigers, those who move out towards Kaladevi and Sarmathura, Dholpur, both have given litters over there. So it shows directly that habitat is good and tigers are getting good prey and all protection. That's the reason. So now I request Ms. Apra to felicitate our chief guest and other guests. Please give a round of applause. request Ritika to share vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri V.P. Singh Ji, for gracing the occasion today, our jury members, Rajpal Ji and Soni Ji, our donor partner, PKF Foundation, with a special mention to Mr. Gutoria, Ms. Apra and Kathy. Congratulations once again to all our awardees in both the categories. Thank you to the Forest Department for sending nominations and supporting our work. Thank you to our media friends present here today. And last but not the least, thank you to ITC Rajputana for your hospitality. Thank you.